Pat, a valiant comeback effort for the boys in Seattle last night.
Yes.
Came up a run shy in the ninth inning.
You know, we love to, we have commentators that love to talk about Sonny Gray not giving in. He's one of those veteran pitchers that doesn't give in. Sometimes, Sonny, you have to give in. And when it's a 3-1 count, you got to throw a strike, Sonny. You got to give in. And he's trying to throw the perfect breaking pitch on the outside corner. And the plate umpire didn't give him that pitch this far off the corner all day long. Jim Wolf, they weren't giving you that pitch. So even if you made that pitch half an inch off the outside corner, you weren't going to get it. You got to challenge somebody once in a while. You got to throw it over once in a while. That was completely self-inflicted. That performance that he put on yesterday. I think I'd trade him. Not just because of that, but I think I'd move him. And try to get something for him. And he's not going to be back here next year anyway. And he might. I think I was the guy at the All-Star break who said the pitching, the hitting might not get any better, but the pitching has to get worse because it's been so damn good already. So that seems to be a little bit of the case now with the starters.
On the hitting front, Byron Buxton has one hit since the 4th of July.
Yeah. Yep, 1 for 31. He got 3 hits on the 4th of July. Remember, he was hitting a lot of loud outs, and we figured it was cured. And God Almighty, it's unbelievable. You got to sit him, don't you? Come on. I mean, what's the object of batting him third? You give him a couple of days off and tell him to go take BP before the game at 1:00 in the afternoon or something. Yeah, you can't run him out there. It's in the middle of the order, killing you every time he comes up. It's brutal. 3 more strikeouts yesterday too. How many have we figured out? How many strikeouts in those 31 at bats? Got to be 15, doesn't it?
Let's see. I got it in front of me here. Let's. Do we have enough time in the show for me to count them? Let's see here. Well, 1, 2, 3. There's 9, 10, 16 strikeouts.
16 strikeouts, and it's unbelievable. By coincidence, I was trying to track down some info on what's going on with Miguel yesterday. And this is Miguel at his worst, isn't it? By far. I mean, worst. It's Miguel at his worst right here. I don't know what you do. I really don't know what you do. You gotta, they don't have the guts to not play him, and they don't have the guts to bat him 7th. You can't, come on, show some intestinal fortitude, Rocco, and bat him 7th at least.
Don't you think he would understand too? Like,
yes.
I'd put him. I'd give him 10 days off.
Yeah, well, I would do that too. I mean, that would be another. I'd tell him to, I'd have him go over to St. Paul and have him try to hit. He didn't have to play; just have him hit live batting practice for 10 days and see if he can figure out what planet he's on. It's incredible. It's as bad as I've ever seen I've only been watching the Twins for 63 years, and this is as bad as I've ever seen from any hitter. And they've had some. I mean, it looks like Blyleven hitting. That's what it looks like. It looks like Blyleven, who would go 3-4 months without a hit, but he didn't. He hit 3 times a game. So anyway,
and Julian is the poster child for a guy who is desperate to DH. I can't watch him play second anymore. I'm not sure if you guys saw most of last night's game. It's incredible.
Even when he makes the play, he's surprised. He doesn't, what was the one? They hit it, he catches it, and he goes, and then he starts hopping.
He's got happy feet.
Throw the ball.
It's like me playing second base when I was a kid. I was shocked I made the play. Oh my God, I didn't screw it up. Oh my God. Oh,
God, he is. But he's a hitter. Because he, why? Because he swings and strikes. He gets a lot of walks. Once in a while he'll take the marginal pitch for strike 3 because he sees himself as a guy who draws walks, but he's got a 400 on base percentage everywhere he's ever been. I would say this is a team that could use one of those.
Yeah. No, they have. So they only have 3 guys who get on base.
Yes.
and he's one of them, right? And Alex Kirilloff is one of them, and then Donnie Barrels is the third one.
Donnie Barrels gets on there. Donnie Barrels is. Well, Judd and I were talking about this yesterday. There are athletes and there are hitters, and Buxton is an athlete, and and they have their streaks and not. But the guy who can look for a pitch, but hit a ball if it's not the pitch he's looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's Solano's one of those. Julian's one of those, and Byron is the worst example of now who's absolutely so screwed up in his head. If he isn't actually looking for it, then he takes it down the middle for strike 3. I mean, the other day he's ahead 3-0 and he takes 3 pitches for 3 strikes. Didn't swing the bat.
The question, and I get like Max Kepler actually had a good game last night. It's funny, Max Kepler strings together like 2 really good games a week, and he still has a 214 average and a 283 on base. It's the weirdest thing, but they're just waiting these guys out, right? These guys that were supposed to be the cornerstones in their prime, Kepler and Buxton, and there's other options. I mean, Wallner's up. He's just sitting around waiting to get some time. There's some trade candidates out there.
Yeah, we'll have him DH today instead of Buxton. Let Buxton. You got him here. Let Buxton sit here and watch. I mean, Byron, he'd understand. What, you think he's going to pout because you're benching him?
And who cares? He can't hit. Like, sorry, man. We're going to sit you.
He's going to be relieved if you sit him. He's going to be relieved that he doesn't have to go out there and make an ass out of himself again. So give him a day or two to contemplate life, maybe retirement. Maybe he can reach a buyout or something. It's
That's a scary thought, but I don't think you're far off with something.
No.
Something's wrong here too.
Yeah.
Well, we know he has a chronic knee problem. So the question is, how much is that the reason why he's, not performing?
Back are all problems right now.
When was he ever anything approaching a great hitter? I mean, he's not. He's had streaks, and the one year he was hitting 280 or something, but he's not a great hitter, and he's a terrible hitter because the pitching's so much better. I said this the other day. He needs cookies. He needs you to throw him a cookie, and they don't throw many cookies anymore.
Yeah.
That was Gray's problem last night. He didn't want to throw any cookies, so he ended up walking everybody. So sometimes you got to throw a cookie.
If I could make a distinction, so he's not when I think of great hitters, I think what you just said, which is you can hit for power, you can hit the other way, you can sit on a pitch, adjust if it's a different pitch, right? He's not that. He's a dangerous hitter, but you have to throw him a cookie to be a dangerous hitter. And so if he's not getting the pitches or he's not healthy enough, this is what you're going to get.
But the most ungodly statistic of all time is, what is he hitting against lefties? 125 or something like that. How can he not hit lefties? How can he not hit lefties? It makes no sense. It's I don't know. I don't get what's going on.
So he's batting 153 this season against lefties with a 333 slugging percentage. So he's not.
So he's hit 1 home run against lefties, probably, or 2 maybe.
He's had three home runs and 84 trips against lefties.
Yeah, you just at some point you got to say, we're trying to win. You got to say, we're trying to win. Byron, you're killing us. We're gonna sit you down or bat you 8th, one of the two. You're killing us. So, but I don't know why are we afraid to hurt his feelings? He's hurting everybody else's feelings, right?
Yeah.
He's hit 1 for 31 into 1, blah, blah, blah. That's about 28. He's hitting about 28, I think. He's hitting about 28 right now since July 4th. That's not good. Even Bert didn't hit 28. He was the worst hitter of all time,
Yeah. No, they're just in this weird conundrum. Like I said, they're waiting on some guys to turn the corner, but how long until you just go and find other options internally? There's a couple guys out there that.
Here's the other thing, guys. They call up Wallner, and say we have a glut of left-handed hitting outfield, then call up somebody else if you aren't going to play him. If you have a glut of left-handed hitting outfielders, don't call up a left-handed hitting outfielder, you morons.
Well, Dilly tried to say, though, that, and he did hit the late home run last night, that, we called up Wallner. We've got a glut of left-handed hitting outfielders, but Max Kepler's playing so well right now, we have to keep playing. What are you talking about?
If you're not gonna let him play instead of Gallo or Kepler, then call up somebody else. They can always find a guy in the 40-man. They got some right-handed hitter over there named Williams in St. Paul, who's a catcher and a third baseman and a first baseman, and he's got about 16 home runs, but he's a right-handed hitter. Call him up. Let him DH one game when Buxton's striking out or something.
But are we watching the same Kepler? That's my question to Rocco. Are we watching the same guy?
I don't know.
I think they mistake like the one game a week where he looks like he should with sustainable production. He hasn't given you sustainable production in 4 years.
Correct. Meanwhile, the Yankees are terrible offensively right now, and they're looking for corner outfielders, and they like left-handed outfielders. They don't hold out for some. You're not going to get a star for Kepler, but you can get rid of him with the Yankees right now if you want to.
Yeah. Would you rather have and if it's a major league for major league swap? I don't know. I haven't looked at the roster, but would you rather have Kepler? Or would you rather have Wallner plus a reliever that you get from the Yankees or something, right?
Or
an arm or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Some guy that the Yankees Clark Schmidt or somebody like that, who's one of their pitchers. Anybody, one of their minor AAA pitcher, anybody. But the Yankees, they get beat again last night. They are in last place in the American League East, the Yankees.
They're still 2 games up on the Twins, but last place.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but they can't score any runs either. So I don't know. What else are we upset about here, boys?
Well, what's your? We're assuming you've watched all 8 episodes now of Netflix Quarterback.
Well, I just said on Twitter I was going to watch it, and then I found out Mahomes swears a lot, and I just don't believe in being around people like that. So I can't. You know me, the F-bomb I leave the room when I hear an F-bomb.
You just go right to church and say a prayer for the person that dropped the F-bomb.
Pat,
your Lord.
I'm sorry you said that, Pat. I probably got to watch it here one of these days because of the Mahomes part. I can fast forward through Kirk and his family. And,
Mahomes, you've heard that like that. I don't know what it's called, but someone like 20 years ago did a narrative on the multiple versatile uses of the F word, right?
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes, very versatile user of the F word. Yes,
that was Ted Williams way back when. He used it in the middle of. Oh yeah, he broke up words with it. He was a champion at breaking up words with it.
Yes, as a noun, as a verb, as an adjective in the middle of words.
Unbelievable. He always he broke up, but it would just expand the spelling of a word. Was that the way he was? It is a really, some people get offended by it, but it is really a good word.
It gets people fired up.
It's so usable. But hey,
it's versatile.
I mentioned this to you. The serial killer in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big Michael K fan, right? So you guys, watch out.
Who's not going to take this well, Pat? The sports pope, Francesa, is going to come back
he'll be mad
sit
that
like
he
fashion say, he listened to me too, sir, okay?
Oh, well, actually, they tried to call Francesa, but he was sleeping. My favorite videos, my favorite sounds on him is when they get him snoring while his calls are being made. Talk about, I shouldn't talk, but there's a guy how many times has he retired and then come back?
Then he launched a podcast and then came back. Yeah. Well, but when he was doing, wasn't he doing like 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
I think he was doing a 6-hour on-air shift solo. Yeah. It was just him taking calls for 6 hours
with his Diet Coke, big Diet Coke guy.
It is amazing what works in New York sports talk radio, though, or what worked. And Mad Dog, complete idiot, never says anything that makes any sense. Just screams and hollers. He's terrible on the baseball podcast. I don't even think he watches. Somebody gives him some notes and tells him what to say. And then Princess is nothing there, but he's, just it's amazing.
Hey, Mad Dog, have you seen Mad Dog once a week? Mad Dog's, I think it's Wednesdays, with Stephen A. Smith on First Take for 2 hours.
God. Oh.
And the best is when they run out. So they'll add JJ Redick as like a young sort of third piece to the debate. And every single week when those guys are on together, Mad Dog takes whatever NBA conversation they're having and he'll twist it to say, well, they're not as good as the 70s Celtics or the, he'll go back to like, he'll go back to, Larry Bird this, and then JJ Redick just like puts his hand.
He does the same on baseball too.
Yeah.
He's no Koufax. He's no Koufax.
There's no Koufax.
Marichal was much better. It's great. He hasn't watched a full baseball game in like.
You've not seen one Marichal. One Marichal was the best.
Yeah, Bud.
Jack Boas was pitching 9 innings.
When MLB started, the guy must have treated Bud great when he was out in New York or something. I had him on because Bud got him on, and a bunch of guys like that. He got all his old buddies on MLB when they first started. And,
Pat, did you see Rob Manfred like not being able to handle the boos at the Seattle Mariners fans at the draft last weekend or a few weekends ago? He's trying to wrap up the first round and say the next round's going to start. He's being hemorrhaged with booze, and he's literally audibly upset. Like he's pausing and he's looking around like grinning his teeth. It is an amazing clip.
And they were just booing him because people boo commissioners at drafts, right? I mean, there's not any. Well, why does baseball bother? They've already moved it now to the All-Star game because they've realized that nobody watches the baseball draft for good reason. Why don't they just announce them? Why do they have with that 12th pick and just?
I can appreciate them trying to find a sliver of relevance with one of their rare big events, but yeah,
they had like 2 guys that actually were there to come up and put on a hat, right? Everybody else stays at home with their family. And stuff.
That's the part of the problem. Guys don't go. Guys don't give a damn.
No, and the teams aren't there either, right? Teams aren't there. They might have a representative, I don't know, but they're not there. So they're at Target Field. So
it's tough because half of the first round picks are high school kids that nobody's ever heard.
Speaking of me and Mad Dog, it used to be they just give you a list about when the day was over. These were our 12 picks.
12.
We're going to do it again tomorrow.
Sometimes.
We're going to do it again tomorrow when we might have 50. That was when they could draft as long as you wanted to.
And it was all via conference call. And I think they did cap it at 50 rounds at some point, or just like once they got to the 43rd round, they would go around the whole league. And if nobody wanted to draft anymore, then it was over. Yeah.
It stopped when it was over.
Yeah. Are we good? You guys good? Yankees, you good over there? Okay.
Piazza went in like the 70th
61st
round, right?
was 61st.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a good pick.
Pujols wasn't Pujols like a 25th round pick or something?
Something like that. Yeah, it's just tell us, just give us the list. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We don't know who these guys are, So, but what I love though is reading what some of the internet experts. The Rangers really got a steal in the 4th round with Pete Schwartz from.
It's like PJ's recruiting, Pat.
Alabama State,
No, you have no idea.
No, we don't. PJ's recruiting. I was talking PJ this year, today with somebody earlier. That Nebraska game is the whole season, that opener, don't you think?
Yeah.
When you look. If you beat them, okay, you're good. Otherwise, you got to go to North Carolina, so you're 2-2 coming out of the early part, and then you got a bunch of road games against good teams, and you got Michigan, Ohio State. You got to beat Nebraska, but luckily, this is the new Nebraska, which no matter what coach they bring in, turns into a turkey. So I wouldn't get too worried about it. They'll be favored, I would think, but
Yeah.
that's the whole season right there. With
Bill's
that
going.
opening night.
Oh, I'll be. Oh yeah, I'm going.
Phil's all in now.
I'm going. We're going. We got season tickets for the first time in 20 years.
Wow.
Gonna enjoy ourselves
You're not
some
just
Gopher
season
football
tickets.
this season.
You're going to be
Or
in the
se-
luxury
or
area.
sell 7 of them.
They have
and-
one win, I think, on the schedule, though, Northwestern. After this thing, oh man, I wonder how many of those guys are going to transfer. Is it too late to transfer? I don't know.
well, it might be.
No,
yeah, I
it's
think
not. No,
You see?
it opens back up if your coach leaves.
Oh, really?
So it's
Okay.
too late technically, but if your coach leaves, you can now leave.
Wow. Did you see some assistant coach he was here or someplace that got the job today? Some guy had only been there 6 months as an assistant. They didn't want anybody who was in on any of the stuff. So there's some guy named Braun, who I never heard of, as the assistant coach, is the new head coach there. Good luck.
Yeah, have fun with that.
And now they got Ben Crump on them. Ben, the new Jesse Jackson, look out. You're in trouble. You got Ben there talking. So
Yeah, well, that's one win for the Gophers. There's a couple
All right.
directional schools in there too.
Yes,
They should get a few
yes.
wins. So, all right, Pat, we'll talk to you later
Jeff,
this week.
See you later.
See ya.
Goodbye.
All right, Reusse and Chain presented today by our friends at Summit Orthopedics. Gentlemen, if you got pain, you got back pain, ankle, neck, whatever it may be. Declan hurt himself headbanging at the Killers.
Yes.
I hurt myself being an idiot with dumbbells. You can get in, no referrals needed, same-day appointments at Summit Orthopedics, one of the 25 locations in the Twin Cities and greater Minnesota. Learn more at summitortho.com, summitortho.com.